everyone, it's Rita with Everything Homemade, and I am excited today because we are going to be doing some sourdough baking. On this channel you'll see gluten and gluten-free baking. I love to show both sides of it in my two-step, very simple technique that just will revolutionize the way that you bake sourdough. I like keeping things simple, so anybody at any level can do it, and you know what? Your results are absolutely amazing. Before we dive into today's recipe, I really want to just make you aware I do have a gluten and gluten-free sourdough masterclass on my website. All you have to do is head to the main page, click enroll, and follow the links to enrollment. Man, this enrollment is for life, and I have over 200 videos on this topic showing you tons of recipes, and you get to learn gluten and gluten-free. So therefore, if you've got friends over that are gluten-free, you can go that way with sourdough, or if your family is split and you want to do gluten and gluten-free, you can do it. So this is such an awesome way to really learn how to do sourdough my easy way. So head to the website for that. Also, I am a cookbook author. I do have a cookbook called Everything Whole Wheat Sourdough. You can order that as an ebook or paperback. I also wrote Everything Stevia. This is such an in-depth book about stevia. You learn how to grow it, harvest it, dry it, make your own stevia extract, and then 150 more recipes in there just using that stevia extract that I showed you how to make. So if you are interested in Everything Stevia, the cookbook as a paperback or ebook, everything, you guys, is on the website. So check it out at everything-homemade.com. Okay, I am so pumped right now. I just can't wait to get my hands into the dough. Let's get into today's recipe. Now in this video, I'm going to make two batches of granola. I'm going to make a gluten granola and a gluten-free granola with the exact same recipe. So I'm going to show you that it doesn't matter what kind of sourdough starter you have, the recipe stays completely the same. With the starter, you can use an active starter or you can use discard. This recipe is perfect if you do want to use a lot of discard. So make sure you have a cookie sheet lined with parchment paper, because we are going to spread the granola out on top of the parchment paper. So make sure you have that prepared. I'm going to start putting the base recipe together. So with whatever variation of granola you want to make, get that base made and then add in the amounts that I show you for a variation. So I'm going to do a lot of nuts and seeds and raisins and coconut, but you can do some nuts and seeds and dried fruit. You could do nuts and seed and a little bit of fresh fruit thrown in. You can do, instead of raisins, you can do dates or figs, or you could omit it right out. You can change the sweeteners from stevia to a liquid sweetener. I'm going to be using honey today. You can use maple syrup if you want, or a different liquid sweetener. You can use a granulated sweetener. You can go from white sugar to brown sugar to change up the flavor, or coconut sugar or monk fruit. It doesn't matter. So as long as you got that base, you can make any kind of granola you like, any kind of flavors. It totally is up to you. But today I'm going to concentrate on nuts and seeds, shredded coconut and raisins, and I am going to make two of the exact same granolas. The only change is the sourdough starter, which I'm going to be using a rice discard today, and I'm going to be using a whole wheat discard. Also, you do not need a 24-hour soak with granola. How cool is that? You can actually make it in whatever kind of bowl you want. Plastic, metal, glass, anything, because you don't need that 24-hour soak. So you can mix these ingredients right up, put it in the oven, and then enjoy it the same day. So let's get making some granola. Before we get mixing, make sure you have your oven preheated to 350 Fahrenheit. So get that started right now. Now we need to mix up our ingredients. So I have 2 bowls because we're making 2 batches, and I have some starter here. So the first thing we need to do is add in our starter. So I'm going to go gluten-free on this side, and I'm going to go gluten on this one. So I'm going to stir in my rice starter here. Okay, and I am going to measure out a half a cup of starter. And get that into your bowl. So since you took some out, make sure you feed your starter now that you've taken some discard out. I have so much discard since I have been filming this course, just because I made different kind of sourdough starters, so I have a lot of extra in the fridge, so I'm just going to use this up as discard. And then I have whole wheat, and same with the whole wheat here. I just want to actually use this up because I have my mother starter in the fridge. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a stir, and then I am going to measure out a half a cup, and this is whole wheat. There we go, get that discard in there. And out of all the different kind of granolas that I do make, sourdough granola is one of my kids' favorites. For sure. The next ingredient is the sweetener. So you can use 2 tablespoons of stevia. You can use a half a cup of granulated sugar, or you can use some liquid sugar, and I'm going to do that. So I'm going to be using a 1/4 of a cup of honey. Make sure you scrape all that goodness out. Then we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of melted coconut oil. You can use butter here as well, or olive oil if you like. I really like the coconut oil, even over butter, because I like the granola I like the granola crunchy, and I find that the coconut oil really gives it that really nice granola crunch over butter. I'm going to add in a tablespoon of Ceylon cinnamon. And if you don't have Ceylon, you can use Saigon cinnamon at a teaspoon. You always want to decrease it when you use the hotter cinnamon. And then you want to add in 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then you want to add in 1 teaspoon of salt. Then you want to add in 1 cup of thick rolled oats. I really like thick rolled oats so they kind of don't get mushy. Now if a little bit spills in there, it's fine. And over instant oats. I don't quite prefer instant oats in baking, but this is totally up to you. So I am using 1 cup of thick rolled oats. You can definitely use instant if you like. And then give this a mix. So this is our base recipe right here. And you can see that discard sourdough just coats all of those oats. It's like your carrier in here, and it gives such a unique flavor. also like about it is that because the starter is like your carrier, you can actually decrease the amount of sugar because you're not using as much oil and sugar to hold it together. You are relying actually on that discard. So take a look at that. Beautiful. So now we need to add in whatever variation you want. So if you want nuts and seeds, I have 3 different kinds here. And I have the exact same thing measured out for the other one. I have some whole almonds, some pumpkin seeds, and some sunflower seeds, equaling a total of 1.5 cups. I like my almonds whole just because of the look and the added crunch. And then what do I have here? I have some 1/2 cup of raisins and 1/2 cup of shredded coconut. And again, my raisins, you've heard me say this before, are a little bit sticky, so I'm just going to break it up a little bit just because there's no oil on these raisins. And get that all in. Just kind of break these guys up a little. I mean, you can even do dried currants in here. Ooh, that would taste good too. And now we got to add in the same amount on this side here. And I've already broken the raisins up a little more on that one when I added it into the bowl. Now we have all the ingredients in here. Let's mix it up. Look how well that combines. Okay, let's do this one. Same thing. Look how well it's combining. So take a look at that. Awesome. Right now you can't even tell the difference that this one is a rice starter and this one's a whole wheat starter. They both come together just the same. Like I said, it doesn't matter what kind of starter you use. You can use this recipe for any kind of sourdough starter. Any kind. Okay, so now what we need to do is transfer this onto our parchment lined cookie sheet. So I'm going to spread out the gluten-free one first. And I'm just going to use my hands here. Just hold your parchment paper down on one side and then just evenly spread it out. Once you've got it more spread out, the parchment paper doesn't move as much. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. That's pretty even. Okay, let's do the same thing. Oh, and let's just scrape this spoon out here. Okay, now let's do the same thing for the whole wheat sourdough granola. Okay, do the exact same thing. Hold your parchment paper. Okay, so when you got this evenly spread out, then you want to put it in the oven. You want to bake this for about 20-25 minutes till you got like a nice golden brown color, and then remove it from the oven. Okay, that's looking pretty good. Okay, now time for baking. Take a look. Okay, they are both done. Look at that. So beautiful golden brown. Look at the other one. Look at that. Beautiful. So what you want to do is just let these cool off. They're really hot right now. Put these cookie sheets on a wired rack, let them cool for only an hour. I mean, granola cools down really, really fast. And then we'll break them up, put them in a container, and store it. Look at that. Oh, the smell here is just so good. Oh yeah. So now that our granola has cooled down, let's break it up, put it into a container. I'm just going to loosen it up. Look at that. You see how that holds together? But listen. Yeah, awesome. And you can store this granola. So as long as it's right cooled off, you can store this granola in an airtight container for many weeks. So you can make quite a large batches and store it for a longer period of time. Okay, let's do this one. And this one here is the gluten-free one. And look at that, same thing. Beautiful sound. Look at that, beautiful granola. Absolutely. And if you didn't know, you wouldn't even know that this was gluten granola and this was gluten-free granola. This recipe works for both, and I just love it so much. So my kids are definitely going to enjoy this granola today over their ice cream. I got fresh homemade ice cream ready to go for them today, so they're going to have a bit of a treat with their ice cream.